Welcome into a new Browns mock draft after the Elijiah Moore trade. I figured it'd be appropriate to kind of run through the picks the Browns have remaining and what they could do with those selections. So we're going to go through a mock draft. Quick disclaimer, I just filmed this video during our live show Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern. So I don't think anything's going to get dated, but if it does, just roll with the punches. Now, the Browns 2023 draft arsenal following the Elijiah Moore trade looks like this. They got a pair of thirds, a pair of fourths, and a pair of fifths. That is not a bad deck of cards to have for a team without a first and a second, right? I think your average NFL fan would think the Browns have like 4 picks or something after the Deshaun Watson trade and the Elijiah Moore trade. Nope, they still have 8 picks. Trades may happen. I'm not going to do any trades in this mock draft today because, let's be honest, no one's predicting a third-round trade correctly. But I think if a trade did happen, it wouldn't be to get closer to pick 42. I think it'd actually be to go back and stockpile picks for 2024. Because the Browns have 7 picks for 2024. That's not bad. But look, they only have 1 second and 1 third. No fourths. They probably would like to add an extra third or fourth. So you might see this team move back, actually, and get more future draft picks. The other issue is the Browns, they don't have glaring needs in this draft right now, right? I think it's fair to say 21 of the 22 starting jobs are pretty much already taken for the Browns, okay? So what are the team needs? Best player available and filling out spots of the depth chart where contracts are expiring after 2023, specifically linebacker, which transitions us into this. My first pick in the mock draft, round 3, I went with Noah Sewell, okay? That's Penei Sewell's brother, believe it or not. Yeah, I know. 3-year starter at Oregon, 6'1", 246 pounds. He's got awesome size, awesome athleticism. He brings a lot of versatility to the table, all that mumbo-jumbo cliche draft stuff. But he's an above-average pass rusher, great blitzer. If you watch any Oregon football this year, you know he is very good at lining up towards the line of scrimmage and getting into the backfield. He's a bit of a below-average guy in pass coverage, but you know what? We're talking round 3 right now. You're not going to find a perfect linebacker here. In 2022, 1.5 sacks, 5 pass breakups, and 4 pass breakups, and 5.5 tackles for loss. His career stats look like this. 218 tackles. We'll throw those on screen for you. 218 tackles, 7.5 sacks, and 20.5 tackles for loss. He was violent. He was a game wrecker. He was a consistent piece of this Oregon Ducks defense. And he also fits quite nicely for best player available and at somewhat of a position of need, right? Because this Browns linebacker depth chart here, JOK, Anthony Walker, and Sion Takitaki, like that is a spot that you have 3-4 guys entering the last year of their contract. And similar to his older brother, the offensive tackle of the Detroit Lions, the dude just kicks ass. You watch some of his highlights, you watch some of the tape, he is just a violent person that wants to hit people. He wants quarterbacks to hate him. And that is a perfect linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. We're going to get to more mock draft picks in just a brief moment. But I'm trying to pick up 25 new subscribers. And if we pick up 25 new subs, we can do more mock drafts. We can do more Browns content. So help us grow the channel. And in return, you will get free Cleveland Browns YouTube content. All right, let's move on to our next pick in this mock draft. It is Keanu Benton, the 4-year starter at Wisconsin, 6'4", 309 pounds. His draft stock has really picked up since the end of the season, which I always just find very interesting how someone gets better without playing football. But he was a very solid performer, I thought, at the Senior Bowl, and he did a lot of great things also during the Combine. Now, his mechanics need improvement, but the guy, similar to Sewell, is a large, violent man. 4-year starter, like I said, in Madison, 81 career tackles, 9 sacks, 19 tackles for loss, and 4 pass breakups. And again, we are looking for one thing and one thing only, best player available. Very nice. That does happen to come at a position where you might need some help down the line. Dalvin Tomlinson and Myles Garrett and Obo are going to be on this roster for years to come. Perrion Winfrey is just entering his second year. Not absolutely sold on him being a starting NFL defensive tackle just yet. So if not, this could be a good camp body to bring some competition in. So what I want to know from everyone watching right now, though, is do you feel like the Browns need to draft more defensive linemen? Or after this free agency period, do you feel like they're pretty good at that spot? Chime in down in the comments section below. We're moving on to round number 4 in this mock draft here, and I'm going with Deuce Vaughn, running back from Manhattan, Kansas. He was a 2-year starter at K-State. He is 5'5", 179 pounds. I think of another short king from K-State who's a pretty good running back in the NFL. He plays way bigger than his size indicates. What does that mean exactly? When you watch him play, I don't think he necessarily looks like a 5'5" guy, right? He doesn't do stuff that just small running backs do. He's got no problem running in between the tackles, but he's also a great gadget player out in open space. If you watched him play, you know how electric he is. In 2022, he had 1,500 yards and 9 touchdowns. The guy was just flat out a really good football player. And in round 4, what am I looking for? Really good football players and special teams contributors. And I think Deuce Vaughn can check both of those boxes for you. This could also sort of be your Kareem Hunt pass back sort of replacement, right? Not that Jerome Ford is not adequate enough to do that job, but I think Deuce Vaughn could add sort of a gimmicky trickery element to your offense. And in round 4, why not take a shot on that? Now, before we get to the rest of today's show, we've got a new draft channel here at Chat Sports that I want to invite you guys to go ahead and subscribe to. So go to youtube.com/chatNFL. Once you get over there, hit the sub button. We talk NFL draft, mock draft, draft rumors, all that good stuff. Click on the first video you see and spam Browns. That way they know the Dog Pound is the loudest fan base here at Chat Sports. Second round, 4th selection, I'm going to go with Wanya Morris, offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. So he was a 2-year starter at OU. Before that, he was at Tennessee and then transferred once that coaching staff had a change. 6'5", 307 pounds. Former 5-star player. He possesses all the physical tools that most people are looking for in offensive linemen, right? He's not undersized. He doesn't need to shed a bunch of weight so he can move his feet quicker. He's got all that. The only thing he doesn't have necessarily is great mechanics, great hand placement. You know what? The Browns got the best offensive line coach in football. I think he could turn this round 4 pick right here, round 4 pick, as a possible Conklin or Wills replacement if and when the time comes, if the Browns don't see a long-term future with Jedrick Wills and they want to have someone grooming, ready to take over. If they move on from Jack Conklin after 2 years following his extension, or they don't give Jedrick Wills a second contract, Wanya Morris could be sitting in the wings to be the next starting tackle. He's also going to be a great swing tackle in the meantime. Now, round 5, pick 140, I'm going to go with Parker Washington, 2-year starter at Penn State, 5'10", not necessarily the biggest receiver out there, but similar to Deuce Vaughn, he plays bigger than his size indicates. He's not afraid to challenge bigger DBs. Not gonna shy away from a jump ball or anything like that. In fact, usually you think 5'10", oh, he's a burner, he's a speeder, right? Speedster. Not really. He's actually a 5'10" receiver that acts like a 6'1" receiver. Plus, he's the cousin of Josh Dobbs. Would that not be awesome to watch in the preseason? Dobbs to cousin Washington? Now, Parker Washington, like I said, was a 2-year starter up at Penn State. In those 2 years, 110 grabs, 1,400 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He is an up-and-coming guy, but he definitely has some things to work on, so that's why he falls to the middle of day 3. Now, here are our picks so far, just to keep you guys engaged and refresh your memory. I went with Noah Sewell. I went with Keanu Benton. I went Deuce Vaughn, Wanya Morris, and Parker Washington. So with that, we'll kind of rattle off the rest of the third day of draft picks here. Starting with round 5, Yasir Abdullah. I got some notes on these guys. So let me read my notes to you on what I have for Yasir Abdullah and some of these other guys that might not be household names. So Yasir Abdullah, slightly undersized to be a true NFL edge rusher, right? 6'1", 242 pounds. Doesn't necessarily size up as a great defensive end, but also maybe not a great outside linebacker. So that's kind of why he's fallen a little bit here. Very productive at Louisville from the start. So you love to see guys who aren't just one-hit wonders, but players who can contribute on special teams, because that's really what you're looking for in day 3 of the draft. Other thing I had, good special teamer early on, and who knows, maybe he can become a rotational edge rusher as well. Round 6, pick 190. I'm going Jalen Green from Mississippi State. He was originally at Texas, former 4-star recruit, transferred to Starkville. Likely a strong safety in the NFL, I have written down here. Good run stopper, and similar to Abdullah, you are just looking for special teams guys at this point, and I think Jalen Green could carve out a role as that on your roster. All right, so the mock draft results. To round it out in round 7, I went with linebacker Sir Vochia Dennis. I don't think I got that right. I really picked him just because of his name. That is the coolest name in this draft. You want to be the team that gets the coolest name in this draft. So that is my mock draft. How would you grade it? A, B, C, D, or F? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll be honest, my grade, I'm going to go B-, okay? I'll grade my mock draft as a B- because I didn't pick in rounds 1 or 2. So I didn't find any day 1 starters. You don't find any starters, it's hard to give yourself anything above a B. But I do think my earlier selections are really good players that might not have big contributions in 2023. But if/when injuries pop up, I feel a lot better about some of these guys stepping into larger roles. So that is my grade for this mock draft. Let me know how you would grade it down in the comment section.